Hi, I'm John, and welcome back to the shop. Today, we're going to talk about getting kids their first rifle and get them involved in the shooting sport. So kind of what it takes. So this will kind of be a little bit review of this Savage Rascal and kind of how I would set up a rifle, or how I did, in this case, set up a rifle for my 5-year-old, and just kind of some tips on how to get kids engaged, and maybe some other accessories or some things that parents wouldn't think about before taking their kid out for the first time. So I'm glad you're here. Hang out for a little bit, and we'll just BS a little bit about maybe your son or daughter's first rifle. So right off the bat, I would say the best thing you could do as a parent to get your kid engaged and involved is to get them a BB gun. Now, I know this won't be nearly as much fun. Something about the loud bang. Well, not too loud, but a little bit of loud bang. Kids know the difference between a BB gun and a real gun, but this is a good place to start. So this is just a super cheap, I don't know, Daisy Red Ryder style. We were in Walmart. I let him pick this out. He picked out the blue one. I think it was like $23. Length of pole was way too long, so I'm sure you can see there. I just straight up cut it off with my saw. Me and my boy went out shooting with this quite a few times, and then his grandpa bought him a much nicer wood stocked one, which I pretty much did the same thing too. So now we have a collection of like 3 of these BB guns, and that's okay. I've got a daughter. She's only 10 months old, but she'll grow into this, and this is a good place to start. So another thing I'm just going to throw in right in the beginning, as far as safety gear goes, it's kind of obvious to me now, but when we first started this, the first time I took my boy out, he wasn't even shooting, just to hang out with me while I did it. I didn't think about how much smaller he is than me, so I know we probably take that for granted. But one thing, we moved up to the BB gun, him wearing safety glasses all the time. You need kid-specific safety glasses, like a regular adult size. They're just way too big on a kid. So you can buy these like in a 10-pack. I would suggest you buy them online. I did find some kids ones in a local farm store, but they were $20. So I've been buying these by the 10-pack. Same thing with hearing protection when you're ready for it. Kids-specific hearing protection, definitely a win. These style in-ear earplugs, you can't get these into a kid's ears. I know they make some that are supposed to be for kids, but it's just not even worth the hassle. Go with the muffs. It's the only way to go. I'm not going to talk too much about the actual safety rules because I assume as a responsible parent, you'll be able to pass that on to your children. So this is where we started, and it was a lot of fun. He had a good time, but he knew that this wasn't the same as shooting a real rifle. So I'd let him pull the trigger a few times on some of my rifles, and then I knew that I needed to get my boy, his own rifle. And let me tell you, I was probably more excited about it than he was. But we went into the store, we looked at a few things. So I knew for just simplicity's sake that I wanted to get my boy a single shot, but I thought, I'm just gonna make him a really, really cool single shot. So at the time I had a couple of these. These are Anschutz Model 64 single shots. And I thought, hey, how cool would it be if my boy had a custom Anschutz rifle, for his first rifle? This is a terrible idea. So I did manage to take the barrel off one of these, turn it way down, mess with the stock. Then I realized why they make specific kids rifle, because the trigger hanger on one of these Anschutz is just the height between the actual action and the trigger finger are so great that I could never configure it into a rifle that my boy would be able to shoot. So this was off the table. Someday I'll put that Anschutz back together, and I'll have a good rifle for myself. So I took my boy to the sporting goods store, and we went through a whole bunch of the single shot 22s, try to find something that he would like. I'll tell you right now that none of the rifles, the 22s that are scaled down, I mean, I'm sure you saw my boy. He's not big for a 5-year-old. None of them that are scaled down are really designed to be convenient for somebody of his stature to shoot. So I really like the Savage Rascal. That was like in the tactical stock with it has like a pistol grip and stuff. It was just way too heavy for him to handle. So we chose this Savage Rascal after we looked at, I believe Marlin had a single shot 22. I think it's called the Cricket 22, that it's got like a little plunger on the back that you have to pull just, to cock the action. I wasn't too impressed with at least the example that I saw of that. Henry had a really, really nice stainless 22. I really liked it. My boy, comes down to it. It's up to him. So it's got to be fun for your kid. So I let him pick it out. This was something that he could handle. It's really light. I don't know exactly what it weighs, but 3-ish pounds maybe. We took this guy home. He already kind of knew the safety rules. And he was so excited to shoot it. We determined really early on that the sights on a Savage Rascal are absolute garbage. So there's no way really to zero the rifle without just loosening up with a screwdriver and just sliding around the rear peep. So right away I went and I found online EGW makes this Picatinny rail here. And it's also got like a split groove on it. Not going to show up in pictures, that you could, like a Lyman receiver sights. So I tried a set of Lyman, I think they were Lyman 48, it's coming to mind. Receiver sights, my boy can't use receiver sights. So from there, really quickly, I learned that red dots make everything easier. We mounted on an Aimpoint Comp M4, I don't know, a $600 optic on a $120 rifle, so that's about all this thing cost, was 120 bucks. And he shot it a few times, mainly off the tripod. I'll show you that setup here in a little bit. I'm determined that we had to build this up quite a bit, so I wrapped this with some foam, and I eventually ended up putting on this Bushnell, I don't know, TRS 25. Super cheap little red dot. I think they're like 50 bucks. I've ran these on handguns and they seem to hold up really well, at least up to 44 mag. So I thought that'd be fine for my boys, boys 22. And then I got my Aimpoint back. But in order to see, we wrapped it with like compression tape that you'd use, like athletes would use prior to using this white tape. So we used this white tape over top of it, built it up. It's nice and comfy. So when he puts his face on the stock, he's able to see right through the red dot. This helps. I must say, I had put a scope on this just to kind of ring out the accuracy of this. And with Ely Club, good ammo, I was able to shoot, about 1.5 MOA. I only took it out at 50 yards. The length of pole is just so short for me. But yeah, this thing is an accurate rifle. Now my boy, he's a 20 MOA shooter. So we'll talk about a little bit more about how to still make it fun for kids where they can hit things. But set up like this, he's at least able to use it. I thought my boy was plenty strong, that he would be able to shoot offhand. That is just not the case. And I would just guess most 5-year-olds, 4, 5, 6-year-olds probably aren't strong enough to shoot very many rounds offhand. And that's where this comes into play. This is a cheap Vortex. I think it's like the High Country. I don't know exactly what it costs. I think I won it at a shooting event. Tripod, it's supposed to be good to like 25 pounds. And I mounted, it's got an Arca rail. I mounted the Bog Pod, their hog saddle. So this works great. We're able to mount the rifle into this, set it up on the tripod. Then my boy, I don't have to worry about anything silly, losing his concentration. And he loves shooting that. I can kind of get him on. I can leave the tripod loose enough that he's still able to make some adjustments. And then that comes to the next thing, is it's got to be fun for kids, or they'll only want to fire like 1 or 2 shots and they'll be done. They'll get bored. So we shoot a lot of steel. Now obviously, wear your eye protection, and you've got to shoot steel from far enough away that you're not going to get, anything blasted back at you. But steel is a lot of fun. You definitely know when you hit the target. Or first time we went out with this rifle, we shot balloons, and I mean, even at 7 yards, this was before I got in on the tripod, and I knew that wasn't necessary to get him really interested. He could not always hit a balloon even at 7 yards offhand. So I used like the 22 snake shot. He had a great time popping balloons. So he didn't know any different. He just really enjoys having some sort of feedback. So shooting steel, can't recommend it enough. If you're someplace where you can't shoot steel, like an indoor range, then I would recommend talking to whoever runs the range and see if you could use balloons or something with some definite feedback to make it fun for kids. Another suggestion to make this fun for kids is find the quietest ammo you can possibly find. So CCI makes these, they call it the Quiet 22. And this stuff is supposed to have a muzzle velocity of, oh boy, it's on here, 710 feet per second. So this stuff is super, super, super quiet. and it's fairly accurate. It's good stuff to have. You wouldn't even really need to wear hearing protection, but it's always a good idea, especially just getting a habit. But this is really good stuff. I highly suggest this or some equivalent. Another thing I want to touch on real quick is trigger pull. So my boy can shoot just about anything, off the tripod. Now that we know that that's the way he likes to shoot. Trigger pull, especially on a rifle this light. That's another thing that I really like about the Savage Rascal is we were able to tune the trigger down. And I don't know what the exact weights are. I've never checked it, but I brought it down just about as far as I possibly could and keep it safe. It's a version of Savage's Accu trigger, and it works great. Nothing's worse than having a, 3.5 pound rifle with a 7 pound trigger pull. So that's another thing I would keep in mind if you're looking for your kid's first rifle. This thing works great. So I hope some of what I talked about are good tips for parents to, get the youngsters out and get them shooting. But I just want to reiterate it real quick. So get a rifle that's small enough for your child to handle, have good reactive targets, kid-specific safety gear is definitely a huge help. And then if you do want your child, to be out there and be able to shoot a pretty good number of rounds with you, if they're small stature, I really endorse the use of, like the hog saddle, mounting this rifle on the tripod, all set up in a safe direction. It's just so much fun. So anyway, I hope I covered everything. I did have some video of my boy shooting, and I posted a video of my boy shooting before. Unfortunately, YouTube really, really, really doesn't like that. So I had to take the video down, but I'm not sure. Maybe the political winds will shift at some point, and I could show a video of him out because he really does enjoy himself, and it's very safe. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. I know this will be a short video, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.